Is looking down at your phone really causing your neck pain? In this episode, we'll discuss text neck. So let's take a look at the original study. So what they were looking at was the forces placed on the neck when the head is bent from 0 to 15, 30, 45, and 60 degrees. So essentially you would be looking further and further down. It's really no surprise that the more you bend your neck, the more force you're going to put on the muscles and the ligaments of the neck. What they found was bending your neck 15 degrees put about 27 pounds of pressure on the neck. Then at 30 degrees, it was 40 pounds of pressure, so on and so on until you got to 60 degrees of neck flexion, where you're putting about 60 pounds of pressure on the neck muscles. One of the flaws of this paper is they actually didn't publish the formula that they used to create these values. So all they did was look at how much you bent your neck and then generated some value of how much pressure you were going to put on the neck. In science, it's really important to be able to reproduce a study, and so because the actual formula and how they generate these values wasn't published, it's very hard to replicate if the values are true or not. The study goes on to say that increased stress on the neck will lead to early wear and tear, degeneration, and the possibility of surgery. And there's a few problems with those kind of conclusions. If we take a look at the strength of the neck, it's actually a pretty robust structure. Just looking at the ligaments, the failure of those ligaments is around 400 to 540 pounds of pressure. So that's a really good thing because it's a really large margin, which means that every time we bend our neck, we're not going to sprain any of those ligaments. Thankfully, we never leave the house without our muscles, and so the muscles actually help increase that tolerance by about a factor of 2.3, which means that the failure of the muscles and the ligaments of the neck increases to about 900 pounds of pressure. So we have quite a bit of strength before we get failure. Just with those numbers alone, your neck is well suited for just bending, whether it's looking at your phone to read a text message, watching a YouTube video, or anything like that. You're not at any risk of biomechanical failure. If we take a look at a couple of the specific ligaments in the neck, we can see that even if we isolate them, the neck is actually a really robust structure. So looking at the ligaments that hold the top vertebra together, they're actually able to tolerate about 295 pounds of pressure, again, well above anything for bending the neck. Taking a look at just the joint capsule ligament and also the ligament of flavum, which is a small ligament, the failure tolerance is still 95 pounds. So even if we took away all the muscles, a lot of the larger ligaments, those small ligaments that are holding the structures of the neck together, they're still able to tolerate that amount of load. Then if we take a look at the relationship between pain and posture, the correlation isn't that strong. A couple systematic reviews which takes a look at all of the literature, they found that there's actually a pretty weak correlation between posture and pain. So just because someone has forward head posture or has poor posture where they're bent down looking at the ground or at their phones, desk, computer, or whatever it is, they're not at that much higher risk of pain than someone else with good posture. The biggest risk factor appears to be just the amount of time sitting. So if you're spending all of your time sitting, you have a higher risk of developing neck pain, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're causal. So there's a difference between just being associated with pain and causing the pain. So is text neck a real thing? Not really. If you look at the position of just kind of looking down towards your phone, tablet, computer, whatever it is, we've been doing that for a long period of time. Whether you're reading, doing the dishes, tying your shoes, you typically look down a good amount of time during your day. Sure, technology has kind of increased maybe the amount that we do it, but it doesn't seem to really have that big an effect on pain. Your neck is strong enough to tolerate the loads of just looking down at your phone for a long period of time. The pain that develops is probably less to do with joint damage or structural damage, so like a sprain or strain of any of the ligaments or muscles in the neck, and it probably has more to do with just your nervous system trying to tell you to move a little bit. The example I always give people is that if we were in a movie theater and instead of looking straight ahead, we were sit to the side and we turned our neck the whole time, we'd probably develop a little bit of neck pain by the end of the movie, but that doesn't mean that we caused any damage or anything like that to the neck. Once we move and get out of that position, the pain generally goes away. So I think the biggest takeaway from all of this is that you can look down at your phone, you can do whatever you want with your neck. It's strong enough to be able to tolerate a lot of those loads. But you should move is the key point. So anything in a long period of time is probably not good for you. So, we don't need to look at our phone for 5 hours a day in a row, but looking down every once in a while for a couple minutes or so and then moving around, there's no problem with that. Thank you for watching another episode of Monday Mornings with Michael. I hope that you found this video on text neck helpful. If you did, please let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.